Hi. This feels really weird. I haven't done a solo stream in quite some time. But I've been writing all day today and I kind of was on a roll. So I was like, you know what? Let's just hop on StreamYard, do a little spontaneous streaming moment. So if you've joined, if you somehow saw this notification, feel free to drop in the chat what you're going to be working on and we can talk a little bit about that. Um, oh my God. Hi, Becca. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm gonna be working on edits. I'm working on draft 3. And today I've been doing a little bit of a reread of all the scenes in this new draft so far. So I've been working through that. I've been tweaking some things and just kind of getting my bearings of like what I've worked on in this latest iteration. But yeah, let me know what you guys are working on. Hi, I hope you're doing well too. I feel like it's been a minute since we've chatted. Welcome to everyone traipsing in. I know it's going to be probably a bit of a slower start today since I gave 0 notice. Hi, Samantha. Welcome. Addie. Hi, guys. Okay. It at least seems like people are getting notified that I'm live. That's good. Also, let me know if you can hear me okay. I hope my mic is picking up and all that good stuff. This streaming setup is a lot more casual than what I normally do just because I'm kind of in the mood to just write on my laptop. Normally I'll like do a whole desktop situation, but we're keeping it very casual, very chill today. I'm probably going to go camera off for the sprints and everything. So those are the vibes. But I hope you guys are down for like a cozy Friday night writing situation. Also, it's kind of warm, so I might take the sweatshirt off. We are due for a catch up for sure. I finally revised chapter 1. It was a journey. Can't stay but want to say hi. Thanks for saying hi and congrats on revising chapter 1. Very exciting. Glad to hear that you can hear well. Hi, Henry. Welcome. Fun. Okay. Looks like we have some outlining, some drafting in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Flocus timer. We're probably going to be a little bit efficient today, but feel free to drop any questions you have and we can do a little Q&A in between the sprints. It is really bizarre to be hosting alone. I am so not used to this. I'm so not used to this. I think the last time I did a solo stream, as far as I can remember, was literally like right at the dawn of my channel. Once I started streaming with other people, it was over. But it's kind of nice. It's kind of like chill, you know? Okay. We're going to open up the timer. I'm thinking maybe we do 25-minute sprints today, but let me know if anyone has preferences. Or we could go full send for 30 so that if we do 2, we've accumulated a proper hour. Let me know your preferences. I'm going to work on a video and then write. This is so fun. Yay! Love that. We love the content creation writing combo. Super fun. Amazing. Yay! I'm glad that there's excitement to be doing sprints right now. I just tore apart my story for draft 2. I ditched the subplot, then created a new one, then added a ton of new chapters and characters for my cozy mystery. Nice. Well, congrats on doing those hard overhauls. That's always a little intense. Okay, 30, I'm hearing. 25. Weigh in. I feel like because this stream is quite a bit later than I normally do, we probably have some people who can't normally make the usual time. So if that's you, let me know. Let me know how this time works. I know it's like late in certain time zones, but I don't know. I kind of like a nighttime writing situation. So, okay, cool. I'm going to pull up a timer. Let's see. I want to make a spontaneous decision between 25 and 30. I say we just do 30 because then we get the satisfaction of knowing that we wrote for an hour. You know what I mean? That's what we're going to roll with. Hi, Natalie. Yeah. Here she is spontaneously streaming. Very unusual. Welcome. Thanks for popping by. I know it's probably late for you, but okay, cool. Let's do it. Shall we? Jump right in. And yeah, feel free to leave cues for after the first sprint and I'll talk to you guys then. Let me pull up the timer. And yeah, I do think I'm just going to turn off my camera for the sprint itself so that I can write comfortably and then we'll be back for the check-in. So those are the vibes. I honestly might even go sit on the couch during the sprint. Okay. Sharing my screen. Okay, cool. Good luck, everybody. Okay, I paused with 2 seconds left so that the chime wouldn't terrify us all. Hopefully, me speaking is a little less startling. Let me know how your sprints were. Mine was pretty good. I was just rereading a couple chapters and making like small tweaks. Nothing crazy. I think these couple ones are flowing pretty good. But I did have a realization earlier today about half of a scene that I want to convert to Varen's POV, which anything that I'm realizing I want to convert to Varen's POV is a win because he has not nearly enough POV chapters as it stands. So that was a bit of an exciting development, and I might end up working on converting that at the end of this stream or in the next sprint. But let me know how your sprints were. Hope it was productive. Also, I see a lot of people have trickled in during that first sprint, which does not surprise me since this was very spur of the moment. So welcome if you just joined in that sprint. This is great. I love that. Read your mind. Hi. Yeah, feel free to drop any little cues for me. Oh my God. Sorry, Mick. At least it's a better jump scare than like literally the terrifying chimes, I hope. And I tried to come in with a soft voice. But yeah, that's so real. I often forget that the stream is going on and get startled. So, currently drafting a queer haunted house horror novel. That's so fun. I love that for you. Vlog edits. Okay. Content queen, love. Love. Okay, rewrote 200 words. Very productive. Love to see it. Yeah. I think I actually calculated my current split and it worked out to 60% versus 40%, which honestly is a little bit better than I was thinking. Like this is just based on my outline. But obviously I'm hoping throughout the way, maybe I'll realize like, oh, this could actually be in his POV or like he needs an extra scene. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping as I go, more scenes that can be his will present themselves. Yeah. Obviously, I think it's okay if it's not 100% a clean 50-50 split, but I want it to be closer to that, you know? Love it. I'm struggling with my outline. I had to add more suspects and fitting them in has been crazy hard, but I didn't have enough. I think I almost have it. Wish me luck. Good luck. You got this. You got this. I was just about to procrastinate writing by finding some AuthorTube videos and your live stream came up just in time to get me back to writing. There you go. Love to see it. Amazing. Okay, cool. I'm going to try to scroll back up. I did see a couple questions, but feel free to drop more as well. How do you come up with character names? Also, are you still writing in Google Docs? Yes, I'm still writing in Google Docs. Still absolutely loving it. The organization, I mean, I did discover how you could do kind of like the chapters thing on the sidebar so you can at least jump around to specific chapter numbers. Admittedly, the organization is not quite as like satisfying as Scrivener, but to me, Google Docs has so many other pros that I'm willing to deal with that, even if it's a little harder to like find a specific chapter necessarily, for me at least. But yeah, I'm still using Google Docs, still loving it. I think I just prefer it for specifically the drafting experience. And honestly, the revising experience. I just generally am enjoying it. The only thing I don't love is like a major perk of Scrivener was if I had notes that I wanted to implement on a scene, a lot of times I would leave it in the notes section on the sidebar. So it's a little bit trickier to leave myself like notes. I mean, obviously I can just leave it in brackets in the chapter itself, but sometimes that doesn't work perfectly. So that's not ideal. And I'm definitely still using Scrivener for like my outlines and notes dumps because I just find that easier. But yeah, loving Google Docs, still using it. Character names, I don't have any crazy processes. I'll sometimes, ow, sorry, I just hurt my ankle. Sometimes I'll use one of those little name generators on the internet, or other times I'm just looking on Pinterest. Like I'll look up like cool fantasy male names or something, and then those like little lists that people have made will come up, and sometimes I'll use that. That's usually where a lot of my names are coming from. But I also just feel like I know the types of names that I like, and I already know certain names that I do like, and sometimes that's where names are coming from. Specifically for my contemporaries, I find it a lot simpler, but for fantasy, I'm often using like references, if that makes sense. Let's see. No, I have not read Anatomy of Story, nor Story Genius, which I do want to check out. I don't even know if I've heard much about Anatomy of Story. I feel like at this current moment, I'm trying not to overwhelm myself with other plot structures just because I want to kind of finish this one out using Save the Cat, but I have a feeling I'm going to test out other options for future projects, like see, so I can find out which ones I like the best. But I think for now, since Save the Cat works pretty well for this project, I'm going to stick with it. But I'm definitely interested in learning about more story structures. And I feel like at the end of the day, like I'll probably end up combining things from a ton of them. You know what I mean? Connection is fairly good. Okay, sorry. That concerned me for a second. I thought my connection had crapped out. Okay. Yes. Do you get that giddy feeling when a scene you've been looking forward to finally gets to happen? Absolutely. There's so many scenes, especially with this latest rewrite, that I'm so excited to write. Honestly, a lot of Act 2 now I'm really excited about, specifically the new stuff. Like, there's going to be this whole scene where they like have to run into a barn, and then our main character accidentally burns the barn down with magic, and I'm like really excited to write that scene. I get really excited and giddy with certain scenes that I'm like looking forward to. And even like as I'm doing rereads, I have favorite scenes that when I'm like coming up to them, I'm like, yes, like this is so fun. And it's usually some of the newer stuff, which I think might also just be like a novelty thing of like the newer stuff is more exciting to me because it's new. You know what I mean? And same thing like with the scenes I'm most excited to write. I feel like now it's the ones that I came up with most recently, which I feel like is unsurprising. But yes, definitely experience those giddy feelings. It's the best. It's the absolute best. And I'm really happy that like as I've progressed with this project, the fraction of scenes that I'm like excited about has grown. Like originally in draft 1, I would say there was like a tiny sprinkling of scenes that I was like, yes, this is it. And now I feel like maybe like half, maybe even a little more than half of the scenes I'm really excited by. And that's a cool place to be, you know? Do you take like chapter betas where people send their first chapter and you review them? Are you referring to like, do I do that for like my audience, or are you saying like in with like my critique partners and stuff? Would love a little more clarification on that question. What are your top 3 tips for rewriting a novel? I've done a lot of rewriting in my day. I've done a lot of rewriting between draft 2, which was a lot of rewriting, and now draft 3, which is also a lot of rewriting. I think I don't even know where to start. It's hard. I think the best thing you can do for yourself is to try and I was actually talking about this in my vlog earlier. Find a way in to the changes. For me, this has to be something somewhat drastic that I'm changing up about the scene, whether that's the POV or it's just like I'm changing this part of the context of the scene. I'm changing how this action plays out. And then once I have that one like substantial thing that's changing, that kind of cracks open the scene for me so that I can view it in a different light and kind of get over any preciousness or attachment that I had to the original iteration of a scene. Because I think one of the hardest parts with rewriting is you're like weirdly stuck in this place of like, how much do I save of the original scene? You might like be struggling to think about other ways that it can like play out or just how to make it better. And so I think if you are able to switch up like one pretty substantial factor of the scene, and maybe you already know what that is, once you get in there and you kind of like wedge your way into the scene through one big change, it'll free you up to execute the whole scene differently, if that makes sense. Obviously, that's on a more of a chapter level, but I feel it's similar with rewriting a novel. Like if you're super clear about like major things that you want to change or just like a different direction for it, once you have that like clarity, it's going to be a lot easier for you to break yourself out of getting stuck on past versions of the book. I hope that made sense. So that's one tip. I don't know about top 3. So yeah, try not to be super precious or attached to the way that the story used to go. find your in, find one or multiple drastic things that you're going to change and allow that to let you look at the story in a new light. And then, do I have any other tips for rewriting a novel? Honestly, plot the new direction. That was a game changer for me. Once you have a plotted outline of how you want the book to look like now, it's going to be so much easier to then just go and execute that. And then any other tips? Honestly, just sheer grit, sheer force of will, because rewriting is really hard. It's really hard and it's really exhausting and time consuming and all of those good things. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that's helpful. I'm still learning how to rewrite, but those are the things that have helped me. I feel like the biggest thing is like I can't try to Frankenstein things for a lot of the scenes that I've had to rework. I had to like really push away the old version of the scene and create distance from it, because otherwise it's really easy to just feel stuck, you know? You got to like take the foundations out from under that and like really reconstruct it from the bottom. Okay. Yeah, I think that might be it for now. Maybe we'll jump into another little sprint. Also, I did make a matcha during that one, so enjoying that. Okay. Cool. Shall we do another 30? How do we feel? I'm thinking yes. Okay. Best of luck, everyone, and I'll see you back here in another 30. Feel free to leave any last questions, and then we will chat about those. Bye. I almost missed that one. 1 second to spare when I hit the pause button. Hi, welcome back. Hope everyone had a good second sprint. And if you've been keeping up with the chat, we might do a third one like a crazy person. So that's exciting. Really rallying. This is coming up on 4 hours of writing for me today. So that's kind of fun. Yeah, let me know how the sprint was for everyone. And yes, I also did see a couple cues. So I'm going to pin some of those while you guys say what's been up. Yeah, fun. My sprint was good. I am doing slight tweaks to the scene of them leaving the capital city. Nothing huge. I'm just tinkering at this point, which is good. We love to be tinkering because it means that there's not something horribly wrong with the chapter. You know what I mean? So yeah, having fun with that. Also, welcome to everyone who just joined. Hi, Hannah. Welcome. Happy to have you. Livia just made it. Amazing, amazing. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm pinning comments, so give me a moment. Glad to see people are down for a third sprint. That's a major win. It's amazing. Okay, cool. Thanks, Mick. Yeah, today has been a lock-in day. I'm also vlogging, so obviously on days where I'm vlogging, the vlogging and the writing is the main focus. So kind of nice to be able to spend that many hours. It's been a minute since I've done that. And honestly, I love the long lock-in sections of writing. It feels like when I get the most done and when I have the most fun. So yeah, fun. Dealing with writer's block a bit, but pushing through. Wrote 295 words. That's my awesome. Congrats on getting 295 words. Got about 300 words. Yeah, these are where my 30-minute sprints are landing more nowadays. I don't know what was going on in the days where I was writing hundreds and hundreds of words in 30 minutes. I think maybe I was just have higher standards now. I don't know. Okay. Let's go through some of these questions, shall we? What are you currently reading? I'm reading Tell Me It's Wrong by Katie Wismer, which is Katie's latest book. And I'm a beta reader for this series. So it's really fun when I get the physical copies in the mail to read the final version. And listen, I have not been this excited reading a book in so long, which is crazy because this is technically my second time reading it. I feel like a kid again in the best way possible. TMI here. Okay, I'm sorry. But I took the book into the bathroom yesterday, and that's how you know. That's how you know it's real, because that's something I have not done since I was probably 14 years old. And it was kind of everything. I'm getting back to my roots. And if you guys have heard me, say this recently, I haven't been reading much for leisure because I do so much reading with my client work. So it kind of taps me out on the reading front. So it felt so exciting and good to be that enthralled by a book again. Yeah, the toilet reading, it's a vibe. It's literally a vibe. Literally when I was a kid, it would be I couldn't put books down. So I would be eating dinner reading, doing tasks reading. That's how I know I'm invested, Yeah. Yes, that's how you know it's good. It's true. So yeah, that's what I'm reading. And I love Katie. We all know this. And I really love her books. And I own so many of them at this point. So yeah. Okay. Ooh, The Host. Oh my God. Wasn't that the one? They made a movie for that, right? Why do I feel like it was Nicholas Hoult? That could be wrong. But was he in that movie? Or am I thinking of the zombie one? Or maybe he was in both. I don't think I ever read The Host, but I remember it being a moment. I do. That's so funny. Anything that makes me feel like a teenager again, I'm sad. I'm there because I feel like that was such a pure time in my life where I was just it was so easy for me to get absorbed in something, if that makes sense. I was so diehard when I got into something. And I miss that feeling. I love when I get immersed like that. It's the type of thing that when you're a teenager and you have those like for me at least, I would often have long stretches of time where I was just like burrowed in my room. And so it felt like I had the time to just like sink into things. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, I got a little mixed up there. I was thinking of the zombie one for sure. I do kind of remember seeing the host though. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else? Great question, Hannah. What do you do to not get too frustrated with revisions? I always feel like editing this book is impossible and it makes spending time in the story draining. That is so real. The number of times I've had that exact thought of this is impossible. How the heck am I actually supposed to do this? Like, that's crazy. What do I do to not get too frustrated with revisions? Sometimes, at least this month, I almost need to forget about where I'm at in the grand scheme process. If I think too much about the fact that I still have multiple more drafts to go and it's going to take months upon months to get to the end of this draft, I can really start to feel like, oh my God, it is never ending. But when I focus on just the next session, just the next time I sit down to the page, just showing up, like the habit of it helps me to get less overwhelmed by that big picture of like, wow, there's so much to change here. There's so much to revise. There's so many drafts that I need to get myself through. And I feel like, especially when it's like you haven't done this process a ton of times, it just feels like it's never going to end, you know? So that's like a very normal feeling. But yeah, what helps me is refocusing on just like next session. Like, how am I showing up the next session? What chapter am I working on? Like zeroing in on that. And sometimes you do have to like not look at that big picture so you don't freak yourself out, at least in terms of like a timeline sense. Obviously look at the big picture of the novel to help you. But yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit, but it's hard. And I've hit that wall many times of like, oh my God, this is the hardest thing in the world. How am I ever going to get to the end of this process? And there's no one clear right answer or way to handle it because that is revision. It's a slog sometimes, you know? But yeah, I'm right there with you. And I also think giving yourself smaller scale checkpoints of like, this is my goal for this month or this week can be helpful. And I think I need to start doing that again more. Like, I wanted to try and work through an act a month, and I want to get back to that because that was like a good feeling. Um, yeah, it's hard not to. And even like thinking about like release timelines and stuff, I don't know if you're thinking about that kind of stuff, but I can sometimes get really impatient with it. So hopefully that's a comfort and a help. Okay. Sorry, sifting through. Do you have a favorite character to write in terms of like their POV or just like writing them doing stuff? It's a good question. I feel like Varen was my favorite for so long, and now I'm kind of like re-obsessed with Rhea, I think. I just like the way that she speaks. She's a little bit more like convoluted sometimes in the way she says things, and I just feel like she has a lot of wit to her POV, and I'm intentionally making Varen's voice a little plainer, a little simpler. It's not as like he never really gets very poetic, and I think that I need that distinction so that I can make sure they don't sound exactly the same. But it makes writing Rhea really fun because I feel like I just like the way that she looks at things, and like I feel like she has both clever little lines but also kind of like prettier reflections. Yeah, I don't know. I really like my main character. I feel like she has only grown on me with time. But obviously I also like Varen as well. He's lovely. And the side characters, honestly, some of these side characters are so fun. And like where I'm at in the book right now, I haven't really started working with a lot of the side characters. Right now, we've only really spoken to like a handful because it's all Act 1 stuff. So we haven't met like the Act 2 characters. But I'm excited to get back to writing those side characters. People really love the sister in this book. I like her, but I don't get like as ecstatic about her as I do the others. I don't know. I guess I'm just not as attached, but everyone else seems to like her the best, which is interesting. Yeah. Okay. How do you keep writing as a new author knowing there's still so much to learn? Like, how can you trust anything you've written or even keep writing in spite of what you still don't know? Oof. This is real. I mean, I think a level of acceptance is key of just like knowing that the current version of you that's writing this book doesn't know everything, that there's going to be things that you learn about craft in a few years that you're going to have wished that you applied to this book, or you'll realize that you could have done something better. I think I've just come to a place of acceptance with that. And the more I hear other authors speak, the more I understand that it is inevitable to look back on your current work from your future self's POV and be like, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. Like, that is a universal experience. And once you realize that, it's kind of like, okay, so why would I not pursue this thing? Why would I not get my practice in so that I can get to a place where I am more skilled and I do know more? Because yeah, you can't like jump over the stages of growth. You know what I mean? Like, in order to get to that place where you are a stronger writer, you have to go through these current stages. You have to like stick it out. And so I think that that brings me a lot of comfort. Like, yeah, I need to keep writing if I want to get to that place, but also I'm always going to feel like I could have done a past project better. I'm always going to look back on every single book that I write and be like, I could have done this better. I wish I had known this. I wish I had heard this craft principle before I wrote that project. It's going to happen. As long as you're striving to get better and to learn all the time and all of that, you're going to be picking up things just from hearing other authors talk, from doing the work, from writing your books, and you're going to get better. But yeah, it's inevitable to constantly feel like you could be doing something better or you could have done something better in the past. You're never going to quite fully meet your own standards or your own potential. And I think once you accept that, it's kind of like, well, might as well go for it anyway, because you can't become good at something without every step of the process, you know? Oh, Charlie, hi. I'm sad that you can't join us, but thanks for dropping by and best of luck with your move. Always happy to see your little comments. I think that's it on the questions front for now. Yeah. Do we want to do a third sprint? I'm kind of vibing. Like, I don't know. And because our chats are a little briefer, we haven't even been streaming a crazy amount of time or anything. Yes, everyone does get that feeling. Very universal. Very universal. Definitely check out, if you haven't seen, Sarah Labrotte posted a pep talk for writers, I think like 2 months ago. And I really liked that video. She talked a lot about how it takes writers a million books to actually like find success and get good and stuff. Very encouraging. How many minutes do we want to do for the third sprint? Do we want to keep it a little shorter since we've already done 2? Or since a lot of people are new, do we want to still do another long one? Let me know in the chat. I'm down for whatever you guys want to do, because I still feel like I have a lot of gas in the tank at the moment, which is actually kind of crazy after 4 hours, but we're not going to question it. We're going to write it out. We're going to write it out. Okay. Drop your time requests as I finish this matcha. Okay, people want to do 30? Guys, I mean, I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay. Let's full send. Let's full send. Okay. The 45 is ambitious. Maybe one day, but I don't know if today is that day. Okay, we're going to do another 30. Guys, an hour and a half of sprints today. Also, should I do more of these solo streams? I'm really liking it. It feels more casual. It almost kind of feels like I'm vlogging or something. Let me know if you guys would want to see more of these. And do you like the nighttime vibe? Because I feel like that's kind of a practical time for me to stream. Let me know. I don't know what time it is in your guys' crazy time zones, but okay. Pulling back up the timer. Good luck, everyone. And if you have any last cues, we'll do a couple more at the end of this 30-minute sesh. Okay, bye. Hi. I hate to say it, Tia, we are wrapping up. That was sprint number 3. Sprint number 3. But, okay, Miley has informed us Katie Ann will be streaming at 10. There you go. Love it. Love it. I think that will be it for us, but let me know how your guys' sprint was. I'd love to hear. Mine was good. I was struggling to figure out how to tie like the final note of a scene to the previous couple paragraphs, but I think I may have finally cracked it, which is exciting. Let me know how your sprint was. This has been really fun and productive. 4.5 hours today. Feeling accomplished. Ooh, okay, almost 2K today. Nicely done, Abigail. Wrote 147 words and created a coffee shop for my small town. Oh, that's fun. Little world building moment. Cleaned up dinner. Love to see it. Writing an emotionally charged scene and I was sobbing midway through. Aw, I love that. I've never cried writing a scene and I look forward to that milestone one day. 495 words in my zero draft. Nice, Margot. 383 words and almost done with chapter 5. Yay. That's amazing. Yeah, hopefully collectively between our sprints, everyone feels like they got some good words in. Yeah. I think that might be it. 400 words. Nice. Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to say before we wrap up. Had a light bulb about my plot. Congrats, Anna. That's exciting. Missed the sprint since I was hosting my own, but I wrote almost 800 words. Nice. Cool. Finished editing a YouTube video. How did I get here? I don't know. I was supposed to be writing. Hey, editing a YouTube video is still productive. So I'm going to count that as a win. Sometimes, the vibes just switch up mid-sesh and you get pulled to work on something else, Yay, I'm glad you got a lot accomplished. That's exciting to hear. 230 words in my outline. Nice. Cool. Sounds like it was generally very productive. Yeah, I have a feeling we might be doing this more and maybe I'll make them spontaneous pop-up sprints more as well because I really enjoyed this personally. And this is probably the most relaxed I've felt in a stream in a very long time. So yeah, thanks for joining and I'll see you guys soon. Good night. Yes, go to sleep if it's late in your time zone. All right. Bye, guys.